Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Somers Town Board regular meeting here on Thursday, December 15th, starting here at 7:05. Before we start, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Let you hold the gentleman get in first.
That's everybody.
Says more
Do
than
I
fly.
That's awesome. All right. Patty, before we start here, can we have a roll call?
Councilman William G. Faulkner.
Here.
Councilman Richard G. Clinch.
Here.
Councilman Anthony J. Sirica.
Here.
Councilman Thomas A. Garrity Jr.
Here.
Supervisor Rob Scarano.
Here. All righty. Let's move right into public comment. Make a motion to open public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody here for public comment?
One at a time.
I think you know the routine. Name.
Yep, sure. Stuart Finkel, 150 Pines Bridge Road, Katona, New York. And I'm here with respect to a planned group daycare center on Pines Bridge, 155 Pines Bridge Road. And what I thought, and if I can just get maybe 5 or 10 minutes, I thought what I can do is at least provide you an update of discussions I've had during the last, I think it's roughly 2 months since our last being in front of you guys. Follow up from the meeting, there were a couple of follow-up points, maybe some next steps. I decided to leave everyone else at home tonight, just, you know.
Holiday spirit.
Right, you know,
Like
there continues to be a lot of support from the neighborhood behind all of this. And even a couple of more, because people continue to be worried about the issues we've discussed in the past and property values, et cetera. But I thought it would first be helpful to provide an update. So we have continued to talk with the New York State community that's involved with this. So the New York State Office of Children and Family Services are the boards that provide the license for the group daycare center. And I thought this was important for you guys as well, because they have at this point continued to move forward. The plan is to open this daycare center March 1st, 2023. Still a focus on somewhere of 10 to 16 children, including full-time children and others that will be bussed in, presumably from the Primrose or one of the other schools, but I think from Primrose. And the thing here that's interesting is they've had a building inspection, and I know that the way this works is you have this New York State office, there is a regional office in Valhalla, and out of that office is where the inspection is done. So I presume that there's been no contact whatsoever with the Somers Building and Inspection Group. You know, they're able to go and do this on their own without coming back to you guys. And because at this point, I don't know if you've heard from anyone in building inspection.
Don't we have to inspect it? I mean, they can't just keep us out of the process.
I'm telling you.
Go ahead. What I read was that the only control that the local municipality had was, in fact, through its building inspections. So we still have to enforce the state building code.
Okay. Well, I know that was one of the things that you were going to follow up with after the last meeting. I'm not sure if you had the opportunity, Roland, to do that, or if that's still something that has to be done.
I think I did have a conversation with Mr. Tuma, yes.
Okay. So, you know, perhaps I should reach out to him, or if one of you, but at least the impression I'm getting, just an hour ago, my wife and I spoke again with the assistant director out of the Valhalla office about this entire thing. Their point is, you know, they've had their inspector out there. There was a couple of follow-up points to do. And I said, okay, what coordination do you have with the Somers building inspection? They said none. So I think it's important. It feels like they're going under the impression, and of course they want this to go through, right? They want this to go through. I know that there's one rule in the 416 regulations that say, okay, within 5 days of getting the license, but prior to opening, they at least have to let the, in this case, Somers Police and Fire and Safety be aware of this activity. But
It
it-
doesn't make sense. They
I
still
would-
need a certificate of occupancy.
I hear you. And so the question is, are they getting it out of?
I would guess to get the license would go through Westchester from the state, but the ongoing inspection of the safety is up to the town to do that. So he may have misunderstood what you were asking about, but the original application, which goes through the state, I think through the education department to get the license, that would be them. But it's the town that's certified it's safe, the fire code, etc. Who else is going to do it? So I would bet, I don't know, but I'm betting
Yeah.
that would be the thing. I want to think, why do you suspect that the county has an interest in this happening? Have they made
Well,
any indication?
in this case, the Office of Child Care, they want these things open. Again, we understand
You're saying
that.
generally,
that,
that you
that
don't
in
know
general, not the
specifically.
specific one.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'll tell you, it was amazing, right? Right away, the person says, well, there are these in Somers and Katona. Hold on. You hear clickety, click, click, click. Well, we can't find any on the residential roads, but, and I know that there's the one right here across from the high school, but other than that, I have found none on residential roads.
There's one.
It's just that their feeling of they want more of these, family care, group daycare centers open. And so even when I speak to the person, I know, for example, they had to move their trampoline that was in the back near the swing set. That was one of the things that came out of the inspection. So they just moved it to the front. And I said to the person, don't they need to get rid of the trampoline altogether? Yes. So presumably there'll be something. But whether it's Roland or whoever, and that's one of the things I also wanted to make sure, just to be efficient, who will follow up in this case with Tommy just to see if he's heard from anyone? Because the way they laid it out is as if they can make this approval. And
mean,
maybe it's the initial approval and
I'll have a conversation
Okay.
if we heard anything, but we've had ongoing conversations and nothing's been presented to me that someone has actually gone to our building department about this.
Yep.
So,
And that's what worries me.
Follow up with them. I'll follow them up with the conversation tomorrow.
Yep, and that's what worries me, that they're able to get this application process through, at least maybe on the initial one. I don't know if you guys would have any follow-ups, because every year or every 2 years, the inspection has to be done again. Look, even when they look at this type of thing through the American Disability Act, they don't need to have ramps or anything like that. Perhaps if someone comes to them and then says, I have a disabled child, but even just to be set up, they don't need ramps. They don't need to make sure that the bathrooms are a certain type, that if you have a wheelchair in there, you're able to turn around. It's not that they rubber stamp, but it just feels a little easier getting through this process. So I think that's an important follow-up point.
Just to make it clear, you're not opposed. I mean, there's a growing need for child care as two people, especially in suburban areas, two people work. You're not opposed to these centers. You're just
Not in any way. My daughter has worked at two of these.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying, if I remember.
And I'll say this again, just for the
Just
record.
to ma- yeah, just
I
so we
know
know.
that there are, when you look at the job reports, there are 100,000 less on a national basis daycare center service providers, individuals that do this work, than pre-COVID. 100,000 less.
Wow.
So I fully believe that this is a very important thing that needs to get
Okay,
done.
yeah.
The location.
What I believe is the location, the safety,
Okay.
the dangers, all the things that, I won't reiterate that
Right.
we've discussed before.
Right.
Right? I think there's definitely belongings in there. And especially, many of us go through Yorktown or other places. Since the financial crisis, there are so many buildings that are available that would be, why not house them? I mean, and I think that's another follow-up point also was what happens once this is up and running? From a tax perspective, do you guys go in and assess that? If this was a commercial building that they were being operated at, there'd be additional taxes coming this way. Is this something that is looked at? Because I know I have some neighbors who are thinking within a year they'll start grieving their taxes because they'll feel that their property values are going down. I don't know what you do with respect to the person who now starts having this business.
I mean, there's only one class of assessment, right? I mean, we have fee simple
No,
and
if, for
whatever.
instance, right, but if, for instance, there's an accessory apartment in a home for rent, the assessor picks up that part of the house as income producing. I would think the same would happen here.
And they assess what, on what basis?
They'll assess some of the home as a business use.
As a commercial enterprise.
But there's really no commercial assessment. This commercial zoning, we place a value on IBM and PepsiCo,
Yeah,
and we assess it, and then it's the same rate. There's no separate rate.
No, it's not a separate rate, but it'll increase the value of the home that it has a business.
Oh, so it'll increase assessment.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's an interesting point. I'm not sure if it will increase the value of the home so much as now you have a commercial revenue producing business.
Well, that's what it'll
Yeah.
increase the value. Is
Okay.
They're
Okay.
going to say now this house, as opposed to a normal house where I live in and it's worth, the assessment is $100,000. This has income-making capabilities.
Which will
so it'll be
increase the
assessed
house.
at a higher
Yep.
level. Correct,
I think there's a
Nolan?
conversation you
Part
have.
of it.
It's a- it's a
conversation you have with
conversation.
with the assessor and figure out that, instead of everybody speculating what's.
Yeah, we don't know.
What,
Sure.
what the,
Sure.
what we could all talk up here and at,
Right.
and speculate what it is.
Right.
I'll go right to the source and ask her
Good
what
idea.
we think is,
Right.
what would happen in that situation.
Yep. So I think to wrap up the update part, at least, is I wanted you guys, I have appreciated the feedback of the board members and wanted to make sure I came back to you that this really feels like one of those things where, as we know, there's the state laws that have overridden local in the past. But even this building inspection discussion gave me some pause. Okay, you're telling me that you're going to use your Valhalla building inspector that works with respect to this office, and they're able to bless this, and they don't have to coordinate it all with the town. And I know the additional neighbors that have come to me, even since our last meeting, continue to be concerned that this is setting precedents. What happens if someone else moves out on one of the streets and someone says, oh, well, I know around the block there's a daycare center. I guess I can start this kind of business out of my house as well, or buy a house. That's not why we've bought our houses, right? So I just thought it was important from that perspective. I know, Tom, you've given me some feedback. I guess you've spoken with.
I've spoken to
Yeah.
Peter Harcum, Kevin Byrne, and Matt Slater. I've let them all know the concerns. I've let them know that the town board, I mean, I can only speak for myself through
Sure.
when I was talking to them, but the consensus seems to be that we were not in favor of it. In fact, our zoning code did not allow it, but our zoning code has no teeth because it is regulated by the state, which Peter Harcum said right from the get-go, not that we didn't have any teeth, but he says, yeah, that's regulated by the state. And that's where, and I said that you would be reaching out to him because we can't do that much, other than, after speaking to Roland, other than, possibly the inspection, which now we're gonna have to find out what is with that, and a resolution. But I think you know as well as I do, resolutions don't have a lot of teeth. I mean,
And from speaking with them, are there any specific angles you think we should take?
no,
we've
there,
talked.
I
Okay.
didn't get deep into it.
Yeah.
I just said that you're the homeowner, you live there, you know a lot more about the particular situation than I do. You know how many people are kind of supporting you. You know the lay of the land over there. So Ken or they all both Kevin and Peter said, "Yep, just have them call my office." And Matt basically said, "Hey, I'm not going to be in, but now it's going to be 2 weeks." He said, and anything that Kevin hasn't been able to handle, obviously will inherit
Okay.
with our new crew. And so, they're very friendly with the town, all three of them. We have relationships with all three of them. We still will. Now, one of them, Kevin Byrne, is not going to have anything to do with Somers anymore, simply because he's going to be the new county exec of Putnam. But your assemblyman will be Matt Slater, and your senator will be Peter Harcum.
Okay. And would you guys suggest anything we CC you, so to speak, on? What's
Yeah,
the...
if you send
Why
it-
not?
You
Doesn't
could.
hurt.
Yeah,
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Why not?
I would CC the supervisor's office.
Okay.
Of course, you can see my-
So there's a reason you get the middle seat.
I think we have.
Right, exactly.
I think we have a file. So you can send it there.
Yep. And the last thing is, if you could explain this resolution, what is that and how does that
Resolution is
work?
just, we could make a resolution that says, as a town board, and it would be all flowery and all that like they always are, but basically just says that we don't believe that this is an appropriate spot for it, and that's assuming all five of us agree on that.
Yep.
And then it would go up to the state assembly and the state senate, and they would read it, and
It has no legal.
Yeah.
It has no
Yeah.
legal foundation.
legal.
It has no
It just-
legal foundation. Essentially, we morally, ethically, intellectually agree with.
and what happens
And we write
sometimes
it, and we.
is when you're doing resolutions, if there's a big topic that hits, let's say, everybody in Westchester County, every municipality sends a resolution, and that, then people, they might sit up and go, oh geez, all, 17 or however many towns are against it, here they'll look at it, but you're gonna be contacting the two people who would have any impact anyway.
Okay. So would you suggest doing it or not do it? I understand your point about no teeth, but does it running in parallel with something reaching out to them? Does it help our situation at all?
I think they are. I mean, during my conversation with them, and I assume after you speak to them, they'll probably reach out to us.
Okay.
You know, I know.
Sure, they'll reach out to my office and have the conversation. I think that, like Tom's point, right? I think the first thing you need to do is have that conversation, right?
Yep.
Obviously, you're going to tell me in the email. I had a conversation with Senator Harcum, right, and Matt Slater as well, right? You could have a conversation with them, and then probably what you do is you send me that email, and then they'll either call me or I'll call them and say how did the conversation go, and then we kind of go from there.
And I think
I
I
know
gave
it's
you
baby
their-
steps, but that's sort of the
gave
steps
you-
that we have to take.
I give you their numbers.
You did. Now, I was going to send a petition. Should I first call them?
I would call them to make it aware of it
Okay.
because these are satellite offices. We're in the holidays. I have no
Yep.
idea. You know, Kevin's probably already gearing up for.
That's what I thought,
that,
yeah.
And Matt's gearing up for assembly.
Matt's
But
in
they're-
his transition right now, and I'm sure they're
Holiday seasons are here, and
holiday season
people are
here,
trying to
but
wrap
I'm sure
things
they'll,
up.
You probably want to start with Peter because he's not changing. You know, there's no transition there. I would always, if you're going to send a petition, I would call them to make them aware that it is coming, just so they know to look out for it, as opposed to getting it and going, I don't even know what this is.
Right. Where's this coming from?
Did you hire an attorney at all or anything?
I have not gone that far. You know,
That's
people have
money.
said that. You know, do you sue them? Would you sue them, and if nothing more, just at least get an injunction from a time perspective? Someone else brought up, do you go out to the EPA and say, okay, I got a house. There's going to be additional 10 to 16 people for an environmental impact study.
On the septic.
I don't think you'd be on federal EPA if that's what
Yep.
I don't think so, but
Yep.
state maybe.
What did you say, Richard? I didn't hear you.
Well, I don't think you'd have the federal EPA would be concerned with that.
But I mean,
But
I
you
mean that's
might have it.
if you got 16 people there, the bathrooms have to handle it. The
You know,
occupancy has to
just
handle
things that
it. Where does
you know,
that hurdle happen? You know,
That's the Department of Health.
Well, the septic and the water is the health department.
Right.
Right. So they have to invest some money to do that.
But I would think things like fire safety,
Yeah.
ingress, egress, circulation around the property is all up to the local building inspector.
And I don't know whether there's tactical things, legally tactical things you could do. I don't know, create an HOA. I don't know. It's like just spitballing. I mean, you know.
it may be delay a game tactics, if anything.
But I think in the long run, it's, you know, the law is the law right now.
Just so you know, Tommy Tuma has not heard anything from the people looking to do the daycare.
and like I said, he's Tim and I have had conversations, and he knows once he hears something, right? He's going to relay that message back to me. And
My
right there,
concern.
he hasn't heard anything.
My concern, and I was pretty specific with my questions with them, you know, this it was even tonight, was that what kind of coordination do you have? I was telling this to the person in Valhalla. What type of coordination do you guys have with the local town people? No, zero. They have their own inspectors, according to them. They have their own inspectors. That's why it would be good. Do you think I should call Tommy
Well, you know,
and ask him for his
he's a code
input?
enforcer. If he gets a complaint, he should send somebody out there to check it.
Well, but I think it's more to the point that Roland's saying, which is,
But
it's
he-
our town code.
So our
But
town-
he doesn't
Maybe they were
know the
inspecting for
details of
different
all
thi-
this.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe they're
Different
inspecting
It's gotta
it
be.
for.
Yeah, they may be
So
inspecting it
perhaps
for
the message
licensing
to Tom
purposes,
should be-
not for, you know,
Maybe
not
Tom
for-
should reach out to this Valhalla inspector.
Yeah.
Can you send me an email to
Yes.
who you talked to at Valhalla,
Yes.
right? And then I will forward that over to Tom.
Yep.
It's Friday. Sure, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I understand.
Right? I'm sure he'll follow up on Monday.
Yep.
Right, just before the holiday, right? But I'm sure there's still people working for the rest of the week leading up to it. I think that's the best bet. Let me know who you spoke to.
Sure.
Send it to me.
Yep.
Okay. And then I'll forward it over to Tom, and then he can make that appropriate phone call sometime next week. Okay.
Did those, when you had this conversation, were they aware of the specific proposal, or they were giving you the theoretical? Here's what would happen.
We were specific. You know, in other
They
words, I
were-
let them know
they
where I
are
live. I let
aware
them know.
of the proposal on your street,
Correct. Yes.
and that's what he stated. Oh yeah, we know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So so
So it's not just theoretical.
they are not able to provide me with specifics. Like they can't say go into the application.
Yeah, okay.
You know, there's certain privacy that goes
Right,
on.
sure.
However, they fully knew what I was speaking
Okay,
about. We
okay.
went through the details. We went through the cul-de-sac. We gave them some of our concerns, both business and
So
personal.
this is not, my point is simply, at one point, we were saying, we don't even know if the people actually have this proposal. Well, now, It would seem that they are if they're aware of it in the county.
Correct. Back in July, they requested the application. Last time we were here in October, no one in the Office of Family, had heard from them. At this point, they have. So the application process is going forward.
So Stuart, what I'm going to say is just so we close out here public comment.
Sure.
Send me the email who you talked to, right?
Yep.
And then follow up with me, and you and I can have an offline conversation just to give me some more of the details behind your conversations as well.
Yep.
And then what I'll do is I'll forward that stuff over to Tommy, and then he can do some due diligence over there.
Sounds great. I really appreciate the time tonight. I hope everyone has happy holidays, happy New Year.
You too.
And see you in the new year.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
coming.
Thank
Yeah, have a good
Don't forget your phone.
Is there anybody out there
Anybody else?
on Zoom that has a public comment?
Line
Is there anybody
right
on? Anybody on?
there. Anybody in line?
No. All right. Well then, I'll make a motion to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Patty, approval of minutes?
Yeah.
None.
That was easy.
Patty, department reports.
I have reports from the town clerk, building inspector, zoning board of appeals, plumbing, Bureau of Fire Prevention, Parks and Recreation, planning and engineering, tax receiver, and director of finance.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Let's go to the matters of the town board here. Number one on our list here, Town of Somers COVID-19 update. I believe last week there was about a little over 200 cases in the town of Somers, and we are down to 142 cases and 11 active. So, I mean, that's a pretty big shift from last week to this week. So that's a good thing to see that hopefully we're making a turn here.
And not much change, just looking back on these records, over the last 3-4 months. Not that much
Not
change.
much, right? We've
Which
gone
is
from
good.
100, 140. We've bounced around that 100 level for a little bit.
Yeah.
We did spike up. That was when we had the flu spike up as well. I remember that. The RSV kind of had a spike up as well there. So, and then now we're starting to see. So hopefully we hit the spike, but the holiday
Hope.
seasons are coming up here.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we may see that again.
Well,
But hopefully,
that's good, though.
Let's knock on wood. And hopefully we don't.
Have you been in contact with the hospitals? I mean, anything in terms of hospitalizations and
Yeah, so
what's going on?
that was last week. We were on with Northern Westchester Hospital. That's when we're seeing the COVID cases, but the serious cases were people who had underlying conditions. On that, the flu cases were up, but they think that they hit the nail on the head with the flu the shot this year. They think they had it with the right one, the strain. And then we did see the RSV cases in children that was up, but that is hopefully starting to stabilize from there as well.
Okay.
It still wasn't too late, as they told me on the phone. Wasn't too late still to get a flu shot. So you can do that, and that's up someone's personal decision to do that or not. So-
Working in a high school, the flu is really
Yeah.
hitting them. So I would imagine almost every place, like a school, would be hitting it soon. But the COVID numbers are good.
Yeah. So for nothing there, we're going to go on to, Patty, we're going to strike out number 2 here. We're going to move that to January. Okay. Before we adopt our budget, there is a couple changes that we do need to make. The general fund appropriations, transfer to debt services fund. We're going to be reducing the debt services fund by $3,000. The town justice salaries, for each of them, we're going to be reducing it by $314. The health insurance, we're going to be increasing up to $628. Highway fund appropriations, transfer to debt service fund, we're going to be reducing that by $3,000, and changes to the appropriations, we're going to be decreasing that by $6,000. Revenues, debt service funds and the revenues, transfer from the general fund, reducing by $3,000. Transfer from the highway fund, reducing that by $3,000. Changes to the revenue is reduced by $6,000. Change to the tax levy is 0, so nothing has changed. Okay.
Excellent.
So listen, on that, I would like to make a motion to adopt our preliminary budget as of 2023 with the changes we just presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
It's an accomplishment.
Nice, yeah.
So the budget
Right.
is done.
Budget is done.
Yeah,
It's
Good.
it's great.
good work.
Feel good. Feel good about that, I feel good.
Yeah,
Makes
Feel
wearing
good.
the sweater worth it.
It does, yes. We do have the ugly sweater contest tonight, so anybody who's watching it out there and wants to vote after you've please do so. Want to stand up, guys? Let's stand up here. before we
It's
move
not.
on?
There's no way I'm
Yeah.
not a ringer.
Zoom in on the
That's-
top.
It's
No
not.
way.
Oh, there's Tom with his, look at that.
Ugly tie.
Anthony.
He was the ugly
There's
tie.
Ron, yeah, look at that.
It's an ugly
wanna
sweater,
vote-
not ugly person. Remember,
was
that's the
gonna say,
difference here.
If Bill wins, I feel bad for him, seeing as he's not wearing his sweater. But,
Still a Garfield.
Oh, well, if you'd like to vote, please do, write in. If you're out there watching it on Zoom land and or YouTube, you have we'll announce the winner next year. So
wait.
please vote.
Oh my God.
Okay. Number 4, award bid and authorize the supervisor to execute a contract for the replacement of the original section of the roof at the annex building, the amount of $13,700 per Thomas J. Tuma Jr. Like to make a motion to award the bid?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. Number 5, award bid to authorize the supervisor to execute a contract for the pointing and capping of the chimney of the annex building, the amount of $12,800 per Thomas J. Tuma, building inspector. Motion to award the bid?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we know how many bids we received?
Two.
We just
Just
received
got
two.
the two.
Each, just two for each. What is that? That's is that the minimum? Or you send it out? Is there a minimum number of bids?
Get one and you
You'd
can
like
take
to
it.
get, you'd like to get at least one additional,
Okay.
you know, so 2 is
So
good,
if you get,
3 is better.
but we have had gotten, if you get one and we don't like it, we can reject it and then go
Right.
out again. But the law does only requires
One.
one. Okay.
Number 6, authorize the supervisor to execute the order packet acceptance agreement for the purchase of a new Konica Minolta BizHub 450i printer copier in the annex building. I'll make a
Can I
motion.
ask you a quick question?
Go ahead.
Just out of curiosity, do
Bless
you
you.
know how many copies we average on a monthly basis?
Somebody does.
Somebody does. So 1,000 is a good number, I'm assuming
Good
then.
answer.
All right, good, just
Yeah.
checking. All right, just making
Somebody.
sure.
Not just somebody.
No, somebody knows this.
One of the
Somebody
few
knows
things
that.
Patty doesn't know.
Yes. I'll make a motion to authorize the supervisor to execute.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Parks and Rec, there is no additional business. Financial, there's no additional business. Either is there for Highway. Scroll this over. All right, we do have some current vacancies. If you are interested in being on one of our boards here in town, please let us know. You can go out there on our website to see what vacancies are available. And then you can send us a resume and let us know which one you are. Number 3.
Let me just
Go
say,
ahead.
this is
Yeah.
not an arduous process. When we say resume, kind of sounds a little, if you're interested, just say you're interested. And it's not a whole lot more than that. So you don't have to embellish or get a
No,
fancy resume.
just-
it's not like that. So
Just some, a little bit of work experience, whatever. Doesn't
Yeah,
have to,
yeah.
doesn't have to be the formal resume that you would do for
Yeah.
for your job. But yeah, it's a little something would be nice to see.
volunteers.
Volunteers, yeah. Number 3, request to pay out 15 unused vacation days for Steve Ralston, Superintendent of Parks and Recreation, per email dated December 12th, 2022, from Robert Kehoe, Director of Finance. I'll make a motion to pay out those 15 unused vacation days.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Request to pay out 15 unused vacation days for Thomas J. Tuma, Building Inspector, per email dated December 12th, 2022, from Robert Kehoe, Director of Finance. I'll make a motion to pay out those 15 unused vacation days.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And number 5, authorize 2022 out-of-title adjustment for Catherine DeSisto, Secretary of Superintendent of Highways, in the amount of $4,000 per December 7th, 2022 memo from Nicholas DeVito, Superintendent of Highways. I'll make a motion to authorize that out-of-title adjustment.
Second.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
So
Does that
moved.
come out of the highway budget or does that come out of general fund?
It's out of the highway budget.
Out of the highway
Sorry,
budget
yeah.
itself? Okay.
Planning and engineering, there's no additional business. Police, no additional business. Consensus agenda. I'll make a motion to move the consensus agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. That brings us up to our calendar. December 28th, the town board is having a special meeting at 9 a.m. And then that goes into January, give the January calendar. January 5th, town board organization meeting and town board work session, and that's at 7 p.m. on the 5th. And then January 12th, 7 p.m., our town board regular meeting.
On the 28th, is that an ugly sweater meeting also, or it's a...
Would you like it to be an
Optional.
ugly sweater meeting?
Well, I just want to know if I got to
You have
go
more
get an
than
ugly
one?
sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it. This is all I have.
This is all I have.
So
Santa's
this,
coming.
This December 28th meeting is just about accounting, right? Essentially to close the books.
Close the
and-
books.
Yes, this
And
is
makes things expedient for our finance department.
right.
So-
Correct.
Exactly. Yes.
And then I do have some announcements here. Town Christmas tree tradition, photo in front of the tree, 6-foot ruler, and that's through the holiday seasons by appointment. You can call us here at 914-277-3637. That is my office to set up a time to come and take the picture. We also have a senior Saturday lunch, the Church of the Good Shepherd, and that's Saturday, December 17th at 12 p.m. And then Town of Somers annual menorah lighting for Hanukkah. That is Sunday, December 18th, and that is at 6 p.m. The menorah will be set up here this Saturday. The holidays on the
Sunday.
well, yeah, but they're setting it up. They're setting it up
sorry.
on Saturday,
Got it.
and the lighting will be on Sunday
Got it.
at 6 p.m.
Right, sorry.
The Holidays on the Hill annual train show that is going through at Lassen Park, and that is through December 31st. You can buy tickets lassenpark.org. And then also Muscoot Farm Holiday Lights on the Farm, and that is Friday and Saturdays, and that's December 16th and the 17th, and that's 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And tickets are $25 per family of 4. And www.muscootfarm.com.
That's this tomorrow and Saturday.
Yep, tomorrow and Saturday.
Did you,
Can I throw one in?
did you say that?
I did menorah, yes, on the 18th. Yes. Yeah, go right ahead, man.
Just for everybody, just remember tomorrow night is Illuminate Somers. Originates at Reese Park, and it's the parade around town. We have 4 different time setups: 6, 6:30, 7, 7:30. You can go on to the Lions website and pick a time. I'm sure if you show up, they could probably fit you into one of them as well. There'll be hot cocoa, glow sticks. Santa Claus, I believe, will be there, and it's usually hopefully the weather will cooperate, but it's rain or shine, and you'll basically go around town and see all of the festive lights that we have.
Yeah, I'm a
So-
judge this year, so I'm looking
You are.
forward to it. So it's be nice.
But that doesn't mean you should vote for him for Ugly Sweater.
yes, right. Yes.
All right,
Unless-
the
unless you
two
think
are,
it's
the two are
ugly.
mutually exclusive.
Yes. Tony, anything?
Just wanted to mention Barbara Tabor had a luncheon for seniors at Mama Rosa's, and just went well. Special thanks to Lynn Crispinelli, Gussie Sanzillo, and Carol Sirico for helping her get that underway.
Yeah, and there was a special Santa Claus that actually came there and dressed up as Santa this evening. So that was a great thing. And candy canes for the seniors, and it was a very nice event today.
Oh, actually, just to thank the fire department had their annual
Candy cane run?
candy cane run. So it was very successful. Santa even stopped by my house. I got a candy cane, so it was appreciated.
Very nice.
But it's a great event that they have every year.
Indeed.
Bill, anything?
Yeah, very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year to everyone. It's been a great year. This year, I think we're clearly out of COVID, so I'm happy about that. I like the reports that Rob starts out with. After the budget that was passed, we remain the lowest tax town in Westchester. Very happy about that. And of course, our state champion football team. So it's been a wonderful year. Thank you, Somers.
Rich, anything?
If anyone's buying me a present out there,
Need an ugly sweater, an uglier
or an ugly
sweater.
sweater, yes, I would just say, we said there, but we got so much here. We take so much for granted. We live in Somers, we live in America. We have so much for granted. We argue about sometimes the most inane sorts of things. I would just say, on a serious note, people of Ukraine, is there any way to help them as part of the holiday? I would certainly endorse that. That's not going to be a happy winter there without power and electricity. So I just think of them a little bit. If anybody can help in some way, that would be a good thing. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say happy holidays to everybody out there. Happy New Year.
Yes.
It's been a great first year. It's been a lot of
That's
fun.
your first year.
It's my
There you
firse
go.
year. Yeah, my rookie season is over. My freshman year, it's over, and
Seems
Veteran now.
Seems like so long.
seems like did I bore you that much?
It goes by.
It's been a great year. We have a lot to be thankful for here in Somers, but there's a lot of families out there who are not as thankful. So whatever you can do this holiday season to bring some cheer to some other families out there, I know Somers always steps up and does that. So whatever you guys can do, if anybody, you know a family who is in need, please reach out to our office, my office here, 914-277-3637. Let us know. Everything that you tell us, is, of course, is confidential, and we can do what we can to help them. So
Somers is very generous. Just on that. I mean, there are various programs in town that are being run, and there are the Lions and the Chamber, and some of the some of the businesses in here are collecting toys, food, money, and helping families that they've identified. They've done that over the years through with Teresa Reader in the schools,
Right.
at the time, and she had spearheaded that. I think the Lions are sort of like taking the lead on that right now.
Yeah.
But if anybody wants to give, I mean, there are places to do that.
place to give. And if you don't know where to give, we can always guide you in the right direction,
Right here.
and the right group or organization to help out for your cause and what you want to do. So you can always reach out to us, especially in this time of year.
At the very least, St. Luke's, I think there's 80 families that,
Yes.
get food assistance. And,
They have
You
the
know.
food pantry there too.
yeah, I mean, so, there's always people who aren't as lucky as us, and I think we do have a need to help them.
And Rich hit the nail on the head. It just seems like in this last year, there's been more anger and people arguing about things that ultimately, we always say this, that we have many more similarities than we do differences.
Sure.
And, just take this time to spend with your family, just be kind to each other. That's sort of what Somers is hopefully known for.
It's good advice.
Wave to your neighbor, smile, enjoy your kids, because they get old fast.
Oh,
They do.
But anyway, that was it.
That's right. Yeah, just
Thank you.
saying kids get old fast. My son had a birthday yesterday, so
oh, well.
you weren't invited to the party. You didn't come to his game, but on that note, everybody, happy holidays, everyone. Happy New Year, and we'll see you again next year.
Thank you.
Motion to
Good
close.
night.
Make a motion to close.
Second.
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 All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, Somer.
Rob was looking to-